Reaction channels, whether you love them or hate them, everyone has their own style of commentary and ways of entertainment. Emphasis on entertainment. Reaction channels have the rather split divisive opinion on the YouTube platform for being the easiest content to make, getting a reputation for mooching off other content creators sitting there emotionlessly. And this bitch can't even react to save her own fucking life, can she? Reaction channels are nothing but on the rise, and every day a new one steps up to the platform. But as much as I have seen other YouTube content creators come and go, I solely remember 3 reaction channels that were all special in some way. Kushowa, GameCubeDude, and lastly, the King Charmx. And for those in the SML community 7 years ago, you will definitely remember these faces. Outside of Charmx, who broadened his content from just solely SML, Kushowa and GameCubeDude were mostly centered around SML and Mario related content. And all of these faces were simply the most friendliest and honest reactors on the platform in the early years. Sit down and let's go back in time to talk about them. We lost a king of SML reactors, and in my opinion, GameCubeDude was the first true reactor of SML who didn't blindly like everything Logan made. Which I honestly appreciate, because a personal gripe with reaction channels is that they do tend to like practically everything they watch, rarely ever criticizing the content creator of suggesting what they could do to make their content, better. And if a reactor isn't critical or skeptical of a video, if they never give their honest and true thoughts, despite if it makes a few people mad, then in my opinion, it tends to bore me. It's not engaging to see everyone never having a mind of their own. Which is why I never got mad at Luke when he called out Logan's channel at the time for being mid at best to terrible at worst. And this was at the same time the fame and money went to Logan's head, when Logan let 9-year-olds roll all over him. Again, I never understood letting a fanbase control you than you controlling your fanbase. But anyway, let's talk about GameCubeDude. GameCubeDude 300, or Luke as he went by, was a former reaction channel who was a fan of SML. He wasn't just a reactor of SML though, he used to react to SMG4 as well. Though admittedly he was more cheerier with SMG4 content than Logan's. But GameCubeDude was a fan of Logan and was supportive of him and his content until right around 2016, when Jeffy came into the channel. Everybody who watches my channel knows my opinion on the yellow and blue manifestation of cancer by now. I don't like Jeffy, and GameCubeDude also didn't like Jeffy. And not only was Jeffy the reason for GameCubeDude's dislike of the channel, but for the community itself. The SML community around this time was just about the worst it's ever been. When Jeffy was popular, and people who did not like Jeffy were met with relentless harassment, and the community would pressure people who did want to watch SML to watch more of him and nothing but SML. I could not express my anger towards the community at the time, but hey, I didn't even have a channel back then. Luke continued to watch SML videos, and he even admitted that he started to fake his reactions, but in his defense, the SML videos were becoming more boring and painful to watch. He even began to skip episodes that were universally despised by the community. However, here's the difference between what Luke did versus what a certain friend of Logan thinks he did. GameCubeDude began giving Logan criticisms about the video, and especially with what to do with Jeffy. In fact, Luke made an entire video pointing out how bad of a character Jeffy was, and said if Logan kept Jeffy around, it would be a terrible choice for him. And he also suggests if Logan was to keep Jeffy, at the very least make him less of a horrible character to Mario. And this continued with Luke giving Logan nothing but respectful criticisms about the show. Now, in Lavelle's head, did I give away the twist villain? Lavelle being Lavelle sometimes, he began to attack and harass GameCubeDude for not liking Logan enough for his standards, and even threatened Luke to delete his channel, even though a creator cannot force another to do that, but I don't smoke what Lavelle smokes. Then the fans also began to hate Luke for not liking Logan enough, and this eventually led to Logan himself trying to get Lavelle and Luke to make up. But this only led to Lavelle threatening Luke some more with hateful and disrespectful comments. After all of this, Luke expressed his disbarment from the SML community for how toxic the fanbase was, and even how a member of the cast harassed him, thus leading him to delete his YouTube and deleting his 300 channel, the most popular channel, which I do not understand why people who leave YouTube do that. Like, if you're gonna leave the platform and don't plan on uploading anyway, why delete all of your hard work from the X amount of years you worked on your channel? But what do I think about all of this? I think GameCubeDude and Lavelle were a bit in the wrong, but Luke was more or less innocent. While Lavelle was just an asshole for harassing GameCubeDude for having a mind of his own, and Luke, he had every right to love or hate Logan, I think GameCubeDude was admittedly weak for deleting his account altogether, and his most popular channel at that. But GameCubeDude was the first reactor to ever call out Logan, and boy, if he stuck around to this day, I think he would have left the channel either way. But there is good news about him. GameCubeDude's still on YouTube, albeit not as frequently, but he's doing well for himself. He eventually voice acts on comic dubs, and he even does gaming videos with Anthony and Zeke, the two former voice actors who used to work for Logan. So honestly, I'm glad to see he's finally doing well, and all wishes to you. Honestly, it is a real shame that Kushowa isn't around anymore, but he left the platform for 4 years now, and his status is basically unknown. I can't lie, he was always so entertaining to watch. He was so funny, and he was always so critical of his opinions of the videos that he watched, which I think a reaction should always do, and he was always honest with himself. But let's briefly explain who he was. Kushowa was a reaction channel who started YouTube in 2014, and his reaction videos always centered around Mario related content. From SMG4 videos to the Mario Odd Show videos to his most famous series, the Super Mario Logan videos. It is unknown exactly when he became reacting to Logan's content, but he was a fan even from his older videos and loving his content. Now, what made Kushowa so unique from other reactors of Logan around this time, he was always expressive when something happened during the videos, and his biggest tendency was him becoming easily disgusted or disturbed or even cringing when something bizarre happened, which made his reactions much more real. Plus, all of his reactions were in real time. He never edited his videos except at the very end of the videos. Now we get to what led to him stop doing reaction videos, and this relates with the GameCubeDude situation. Because Kushowa and GameCubeDude were friends, and rightfully after GameCubeDude was harassed, Kushowa himself made a video expressing his frustration at Logan. This drama, plus coincided with toxicity and uncaring nature of the SML community, the community not liking someone for their personality or honesty, but only because they watch SML content, this led to Kushowa not wanting to react to SML anymore. He was tired of SML, as a content creator and as a person. With him not taking criticism and treating his fans terribly, being uncaring towards his older fans, his failure to get better, witnessing the content getting worse, and Jeffy being the biggest reason he left, which I swear when you really think about it, compared to back then, Jeffy and the heinous SML community, he has caused so many content creators to stop reacting to SML. After he made the decision to quit, Kushowa did upload gaming videos like the Walking Dead games, and he even was an SFM animator for a few months, but unfortunately he was unable to achieve any success. Eventually he did cave into the SML fan base by reacting to SML one more time in a live stream. In this specific live stream, he sounded incredibly depressed with his community not supporting him.
I just want to move on from this. That's all I want to do. It's been something that I've been wanting to do for so long. Your last chance to support my 2 other channels. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
Like, man, I really felt bad for this guy back then. Like, it's rough when you see just how vicious Logan and his fanbase are, how shallow they are, and how they just never let people do what they want. He sounded so broken, and it's honestly heartbreaking to hear. He has since also deleted his YouTube, and his status is unknown. And we lost yet another great reactor in person thanks to the SML fanbase. He left on a worrying note, but I just hope he's living life to this day. We left the best for last. This man went by many names. Carl Cloudy, the Zucchini King, the Bald Bastard, but the real ones know him as Charmx. Why I decided to leave Charmx for last? Well, I have a lot more to say about him. Compared to the other 2 previous reactors, there's not really much information for me to go on, but Charmx lasted a lot longer than these 2. Honestly, I could go on about how eccentric and honest he was to the platform, how he was always so helpful to other content creators, how he was always so open and treated his community like a family. Even if sometimes he would ask a question about the video when the video literally answered his question like 10 seconds ago, he was always honest with himself and towards us. He was like an uncle, always sharing stories to his children. I miss the man if you couldn't tell already. Charmx was a YouTuber, reactor, and a gamer who started YouTube in 2013. Before he found YouTube, he was admittedly suicidal and he didn't know what to do with his life. And his first original 3 Charmx channels were made after, but they were all taken down by YouTube for copyright strikes. Then in 2017, he made the 3 current Charmx channels. The main channel was mostly made for all sorts of content. He would make reaction videos, he would currently make videos updating his life up to that point, to making some rant videos on YouTube and drama situations. His other 2 channels were either for gaming or for YTP reactions. Now for Charmx as a person, I always loved just how calm and chill Charmx was, for always updating his community, always telling us everything he was going through, even from his high to low points. That's what made him incredibly unique from pretty much any reactor I ever watched. And when it came to his reaction videos, they were always so energetic and authentic, and this is how he became a meme, like becoming the Zucchini King, with his comedic side and the weirdness of him, in a good way. He always had this aura of like, you'll never know what this man's gonna do next. I remember when he was making a video saying he was gonna bring a friend to his channel, and we all thought it was gonna be his brother or maybe a friend that he has, but no, it was just a Captain America bottlehead. Outside of YouTube, he was always stuck with trying to figure out what to do with his life, and he did a few side hustles for some money, which the money would be used to finally move out of his parents' house. He told his audience that he was thinking of publishing a book to creating a video game, but respectfully and admittedly, with Charmx never actually advertising the product, it was no wonder why he was getting no retention. I mean, I was always curious about this video game he was making, but then only to turn out he never released it publicly. And as for the book, it went through some issues with the artist, and he eventually just scrapped the entire thing. Charmx always made a promise to his fanbase that if he ever reached 1 million subs, he would finally take off his beanie. And this was the biggest event in history, the end game for YouTubers. And in August of 2020, he reached it, and he revealed himself in all of his shiny glory. King Neptune got nothing on this. But compared to reaching 1 million subs, Charmx always wanted to move out of his parents' house. And at the end of 2020, he finally accomplished that dream and moved into an apartment. And he seemed to be pretty happy for a while. But then things became worrying to say the least. He started admitting that he was feeling lost once again, openly talking about himself taking schizophrenic medication and admitting that he wasn't taking the full dose. Also expressing that he had extreme paranoia and anxiety. And he was also feeling lonely, with talks of always wanting to be in a relationship, but he wasn't confident with himself. And on top of that, he said multiple times that he had bipolar. It wasn't long after said video that he decided to retire. He coincidentally released his very last video 2 years ago on April Fool's, and considering that he never came back, it was nothing but downright scary. But I would like to remain ambiguous and say that he's living his life right now. Honestly, this man was a giant legend on the reaction channel community. He was literally loved by millions of fans. He was and still is dearly missed by the community, and I miss him as well. I mean, he was just a fresh face in the reaction community, someone who was genuinely honest with himself and his fans. Someone not afraid to speak their mind and tell us how he feels. Even the worst side of himself, which is bold but still honest. And just a friendly individual that I'm sure anyone would like to be friends with. And outside the GameCubeDude who was doing well for himself and still semi-active, I hope Kushowa and Charmx are living their lives and living prosperously.